You let this little flirt out of your sight for 1 second and she starts shopping for a new papa.
If he wants to go after you, he infests himself into every area of your life. Who owns the production company? Who owns the next movie script? I am going to infest myself everywhere. I'm going to be doing your movie premiere. I'm going to be doing promos and making fun of you. Right? I'm going to put myself in the end credits. Like, this is like psychotic behavior, okay? And they were denying that Ryan Reynolds had anything to do with it. Those were PR teams that were working overtime behind the scenes, likely their PR team. Leslie Sloan, it's not true. No, it's never. That is a fact. He's a very scary, creepy guy. We found the creep. It's Ryan Reynolds. This has been a terrible thing. And even though it is our fault, we have been awful to you. We've been threatening this movie every step of the way to get what Blake Lively wants and really what Ryan wants more than anything else.
Blake Lively just got exposed in the most brutal way, not by tabloids, but by the one person who swore to stand by her own husband, Ryan Reynolds. Imagine the shock as the man who played her supportive partner pulls a sudden legal maneuver, declaring he wants out. This isn't just a divorce filing. It's a desperate escape from a situation he now calls pure chaos. Ryan, the quick-witted star known for his comedic timing, is now allegedly cutting ties with Blake's unfolding public relations nightmare. This isn't about creative differences or a quiet separation. It's about a man realizing he's been dragged into a legal storm and is making a dramatic exit. The silence from his end speaks volumes.
You came at them with a figurative head. And you put his family in the basement. I'm sorry the public noticed. The reality is these Hollywood types, they think we are all stupid. We are so dumb. All they need is a PR machine and the right reporter at the Hollywood Reporter and the right reporter at the Daily Mail and Page 6, whatever it is, and they'll tell us what to think. Sony informs Wayfarer, the studio financing the premiere and most of the film, that Lively had demanded that Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfarer refrain from attending the New York premiere and threatened a cast-wide boycott if they do. You know, the public, you're noticing some things, but you're wrong, public. Basically, the command was gaslight the public while behind the scenes, we act awful. That was the command. That was the instruction.
Ryan and Blake both now realize if their careers are to survive, they cannot be involved in the same projects because everything will be heavily scrutinized. Now, I would argue even their solo projects are going to be scrutinized. You guys clearly aren't backing down. You're frustrated with them, and I hear why. I am too. If they really played the power moves that they did and lied, shame on them, of course. But I don't fault him for not showing up because I agree with this reasoning. It would have been even more intense, more scrutinized. And I think they do need to do their separate appearances. Blake is unsure about the future of her career because of the backlash she has received. She does not want to have a family with no income, and she knows that Ryan's career has so far survived the fallout. I do think Blake will have a tougher time getting gigs, not because of a retaliation campaign, but because of her demanding authorship. Go make your own movies, Blake. Go make your own movie. You have the funds, the support, apparently. You have Hollywood friends who have your back, right? Ari Emanuel. Go make your own movie. Go put it out there yourself and make a hit.
Private text messages and other documents that we've obtained reveal what really happened.
He's distancing himself from a wife who sources claim has become a legal liability. The Hollywood dream couple facade is crumbling, revealing a far more complicated reality. Ryan Reynolds, Mr. Deadpool himself, has reportedly made a quiet exit from the whirlwind he and his PR-driven wife supposedly orchestrated. This wasn't some minor disagreement. Apparently, Ryan is completely done with Blake's extensive legal troubles. He has chosen not to go down with this ship, filing a motion to dismiss himself from the lawsuit Blake Lively is facing.
And you want to know something? He's not so funny in real life.
Really?
No, he's not so funny. He's very serious. No, Taylor, then I would do Snoop, and then I would take Ryan off it, and I would put in somebody else.
I'm so surprised that Ryan Reynolds isn't funny. This is like a shocker to me.
Sources close to Ryan suggest he confided in others, stating he never signed up for the accusations and legal summons that have plagued their marriage. He apparently believed he was marrying a style icon, not someone entangled in legal entanglements. This separation from her public battles began as her carefully built PR kingdom reportedly collapsed like a house of cards in a hurricane. The The plot thickens with claims that Blake Lively orchestrated a sham lawsuit through their company Vans & Inc. without actually suing anyone. This seemingly innocent action had a darker purpose: to justify issuing a subpoena for Jennifer Abel's personal phone records.
Private text messages and other documents that we've obtained reveal what really happened.
And it serves Macron right, hiring American PR firms to go after Americans and hiring lawyers to go after Americans. It just does not work, my friend. In the end, the truth will win. A mystery. We didn't know why Ryan was doing and saying the things that he was doing to such a nice person.
What makes this even more alarming is the allegation that they did not notify Jennifer, Justin Baldoni, or Wayfair about this invasive attempt to access private data. Legal experts have reportedly labeled this behavior as a textbook abusive process, suggesting it could be potentially unlawful.
I just thought we'd done everything, and I swear to God, we hadn't done Logan yet, but I said, Logan's going to be my last. I knew what the script, I was excited about. I thought this is going to be perfect.
I occasionally work with a group called Pacific Wild and a guy named Ian McAllister who runs Pacific Wild, and I just love everything they do up there. So my hope is to go up there and get a distant look at a spirit bear.
No, I mean, I always thought I'd end up as in law enforcement, like my family. So I didn't imagine that acting was a way to get out of the house. It wasn't really like a passion when I was a kid. It was something that I was already doing at home, to survive. So right. You kind of, I noticed when I was a kid, making people laugh was a great self-defense mechanism. It really helped me kind of navigate my way through my own home with my older brothers and my dad, and I could diffuse them by making them laugh.
Yeah. My relationship with my father, which was very complicated and difficult. My dad was a very I come from a middle class, it was kind of blue collar home, and my dad was just of that generation where it's just like, he was Clint Eastwood, less is more. Simple grunts is how he communicated.
Okay, gotcha.
I think people tell themselves stories, and this sort of comes back to your worldview that you just mentioned about.
We are talking about possible violations of major federal laws, including the Federal Wiretapping Act, the Stored Communications Act, and the Electronic Records Act. These are not minor infractions, they are serious legal matters.
Shooting of Justin Baldoni.
And here's one supposedly from Ryan Reynolds. And what's that last line? What's that last line? Oh, he's gay.
He is not an honest person with himself. And so he's just become a very vicious person who's lashing out in a variety of ways. It's called like an Enneagram personality type 1 through 9. Well, Ryan Reynolds on the Enneagram is a psycho. That's what he is. He's just a psycho. His number is psycho. This now confirms our suspicion that all of those very cringe nice pool scenes in which he was randomly referring to his female dog, Ryan in character being a funny guy. So he had the female dog, which he called Dog Pool. So read, this was meant to be a bitch, right? A literal bitch.
Ryan Reynolds apparently drew a firm line when Blake's legal maneuvers allegedly targeted Taylor Swift. There are claims Ryan completely withdrew from Blake's legal planning team after hearing about an alleged blackmail threat against Taylor. The threat was supposedly to leak years of private text messages if Taylor did not publicly support Blake. This incident reportedly solidified Ryan's decision to distance himself as he found the alleged tactic beyond acceptable.
And I'm really excited, but as I've gotten a little bit older, I sort of want to. Really, I'm lucky that I get to work in this industry, and particularly incredibly fortunate that I get to work in it this long. But I really want to work with people that are either immensely talented or people that I love and that I'm genuinely best friends with. And unfortunately, Hugh does not qualify as either of those. But I am excited because I'm a Logan fan. So and then that covers Will Ferrell as well. That's a guy that my entire life I feel.
Well, that is also accurate and weirdly high praise as well. It was just one of those things that felt like a live action Pixar movie. It was something that, I wanted to do something where nobody was being stabbed in the face.
Yes.
There was almost no blood at all. I think I got a little paper cut on the movie. That was about it. And something that my kids can watch, but also as a parent, too, you want the parents need to get punched right in the heart as well.
It appears the potential involvement of one of the world's most beloved pop stars was the turning point for Ryan, making him realize the severe implications of Blake's actions. Blake Lively's calculated public image is reportedly shattering, as she seems to be losing allies at an alarming rate.
And why are all of these buried issues that he has culminating into what can only be described as a figurative drive-by shoot?
It's not just a few friends. Sources suggest a mass exodus from her inner circle.
Robert Downey Jr., after a 5-year break, is returning to Marvel, but before he did that, he actually turned down Ryan Reynolds.
You don't see his face. Ryan Reynolds, is he one of those?
Cara Delevingne and Gigi Hadid have reportedly distanced themselves, and even Ryan is allegedly expressing concern about her escalating behavior to close associates. This isn't a gradual fading of friendships, it's a rapid detachment, as if her closest confidants are consciously stepping away from the unfolding drama. This pattern suggests a deeper issue, as her alleged actions are driving away even those who were once considered loyal. The Van Sham scheme reveals a shocking alleged strategy. In April 2024, Blake and Ryan's company Vans & Inc. had supposedly filed a lawsuit with no actual defendant, a move that legal experts find highly suspicious. This lawsuit was then allegedly used to justify a subpoena for Jennifer Abel's private phone data.
I would say that they're more surprises because they have beginnings, middles, and ends. They're not like, it's not just like a, hey, there's the person and we move on. It's they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said it just earlier, but I wanted to go back on that. You think that this might be the greatest film that you've...
I mean, look, most of the time when the movie is this much fun to make, you out bad.
About a month ago, this really hit home with me too. About a month ago, I was sitting in traffic and I was just like jamming These Dreams by heart. Oh. I was killing it in the car. And there was just this busload of high school kids that were parked right beside me. I didn't even realize. I looked over and every one of their jaws were just on the ground laughing their friggin' guts out at me.
The alarming detail here is the lack of notification to Jennifer or anyone else affected. This alleged manipulation of the legal system points to a deliberate attempt to bypass standard protocols and gain unauthorized access to private information. Blake Lively is reportedly facing serious legal accusations, including alleged violations of the Federal Wiretapping Act, the Stored Communications Act, and the Electronic Records Act.
Brian Friedman, power attorney, tells TMZ Miss Lively's recent motion to dismiss herself from the self-concocted disaster she initiated is one of the most abhorrent examples of abusing our legal systems. What happened was, and again, everyone's doing this. No one wants to be in this trial, of course. Blake Lively's publicist asked to be removed from lawsuit, defends actress against Justin Baldoni's claims. I'm going to get into what Justin Baldoni's lawyer had to say and what Blake's team is saying, because every day there's more to the drama, and I'm going to get into all of this happening next. So we have Blake Lively accusing Justin Baldoni of retaliating with his lawsuit on her, and then we have Justin Baldoni's lawyer saying Blake is abusing the system. To be quite honest, everyone I meet's Team Blake. I mean, other than Taylor Lorenz. Everyone's Team Justin Baldoni. I got that wrong. Everyone's Team Justin Baldoni. The Wayfair Party's vengeful and rambling lawsuit against Blake Lively is a profound abuse of the legal process that has no place in federal court. The law prohibits weaponizing defamation lawsuits like this one to retaliate against individuals who have filed legal claims or have publicly spoken out about harassment and retaliation. The right to seek legal redress and the right of the press to report on it are sacred principles that are protected by multiple privileges, including the litigation and fair report privileges, which are absolute. So their argument is, you're not allowed to sue us back because we filed this harassment suit. I mean, it's like punching someone and then they don't get a chance to return the blow. So here's what Justin Baldoni's attorney, power attorney Brian Friedman, is saying, right? Because she's arguing in her motion to dismiss, hey, I filed a harassment complaint against Baldoni. He cannot sue me in retaliation. If Justin Baldoni can prove that she filed that claim for some malicious intent, then maybe he'll have a shot at it. But some people are saying, hey, she could get off on some sort of technicality here.
These are significant federal laws designed to protect privacy and electronic communications. The alleged actions taken to obtain Jennifer Abel's phone data through a sham lawsuit are at the heart of these potential violations. The consequences of such breaches can be severe, ranging from hefty fines to more serious penalties. The fact that these legal issues are now surfacing indicates a perilous path for Blake Lively. Blake's publicist, Stephanie Jones, has reportedly faced a dramatic professional downfall. Once seen as a PR powerhouse, Jones has allegedly lost multiple high-profile clients, including The Rock, Jeff Bezos, Chris Hemsworth, and even Ocean Spray. Reports indicate that Tom Brady also parted ways with Jones after learning she allegedly handed over confidential phone data to Blake. This exodus of clients reportedly stems from Jones's alleged involvement in shady PR tactics and smear campaigns, specifically against Justin Baldoni and Melissa Nathan. Business Insider reportedly characterized Jones' works as a toxic environment with high employee turnover, further cementing the negative perception. Blake Lively's alleged attempts to control the media have reportedly taken a dark turn. When traditional legal threats supposedly failed, her team, including PR professional Leslie Sloan and Stephanie Jones, allegedly began feeding misleading information to reporters. These were not innocent opinions, but allegedly coordinated efforts to discredit Justin Baldoni and Melissa Nathan. When journalists resisted these attempts to manipulate narratives, Blake's team reportedly tried to subpoena them for their private communications, including texts, voice memos, and notes. This aggressive approach against the press, which included attempts to bypass New York's shield laws protecting journalists, highlights a desperate desire to control public perception. Blake Lively's once polished public image has reportedly unraveled completely. Her relationships with prominent friends like Taylor Swift, Gigi Hadid, and Cara Delevingne have allegedly soured, leaving her isolated. Ryan Reynolds, her last remaining public support, is reportedly actively distancing himself, even attempting to sell his stake in Mint Mobile, a company he built. Sources claim he stated he is done cleaning up her mess. Meanwhile, Stephanie Jones is under federal scrutiny, and Blake's legal team is reportedly trying to portray themselves as victims. Her carefully curated empire of friendships, reputation, and credibility has allegedly crumbled, leaving her with a dwindling support system and a growing list of consequences.
Lots of women are calling bullshit on Blake Lively. Like, that's just what you see. And look, if you're Blake Lively and you get a text message of this guy Jed saying, "We are crushing it on Reddit," then yeah, I can understand that paranoia, but that's not enough to win a lawsuit, right? They're gonna have to provide that proof.
How about your post should be, "I'm sorry. I believed Blake like everyone else when the civil complaint was filed in California, and then 2 days later, the New York Times writes this article. Read this New York Times thing I told everyone. It's horrible. It's terrible." Why doesn't anyone just say, "I made a mistake"? I think we live in a world, we're out of cancel culture now. I think. But we live in a world where if you say you're sorry, I just believe that people forgive you and you'll be okay.
Justin Baldoni's attorney, power attorney Brian Friedman, is saying Blake is abusing the legal system, slams her motion to dismiss the suit. They're firing backs at her attempt to cut herself out of the ongoing legal drama surrounding the film It Ends With Us. Brian Friedman, power attorney, tells TMZ Miss Lively's recent motion to dismiss herself from the self-concocted disaster she initiated is one of the most abhorrent examples of abusing our legal systems. Friedman says stringent rules are put into place to protect the innocent and allow individuals to rightfully defend themselves, while noting laws are not meant to be twisted and curated by privileged elites to fit their own personal agenda. TMZ broke the story that Blake filed her motion to dismiss, saying Baldoni violated the law by filing his own lawsuit in the purpose of revenge. Blake says Baldoni filed his defamation suit against her, her husband, and everyone else after she filed his. And of course, when she filed her lawsuit onto him, obviously he's going to take a hit from that career-wise. So his response is like, "You're defaming me by doing that." And she's saying, "Well, you can't even respond."